So it is spring here in the Huon Valley, and that means that the family and I have been here in Tasmania for almost 3 months now, or coming up or completed 3 months. We arrived here just before the winter solstice, and we were really worried because so many people told us how cold it would get down here and how hard it would be, and we're crazy for having decided to move down here from the tropics, and you know, on and on. You know how people can at times just over critique through fear? Well, we got a lot of that, but it was pretty much water off a duck's back, and we have been here now for enough time to know whether or not we love it or we hate it. And we absolutely love it. So I wanted to show you around. So I'm at my witch's cottage right now. Green door, and this is laser light paneling to the mudroom. Behind me is my little witchy garden and the gate there. But we are going to go out through the carport and have a look around. This is what it looks like. Yay! This is our property. So the entry point to our property is just there. And this is the front garden to basically my little witchy cottage. And I'm just going to show you around a few little bits and bobs and just get you to see exactly how we're doing and what it looks like, and give you a feel of the place, because we really love it here. We don't regret moving down here at all. And yeah, there have been some challenges, but we are looking at, you know, responding to those challenges in a constructive manner. Take for instance, we ran out of water in our water tank, in our primary water tank down there, and we could have panicked, but we have plenty of water tanks as a backup. We have been showering up here in the witch's cottage because there's a nice big water tank to the back there, and I may as well take you so that you can have a look. But it became a thing that we had to learn to moderate our use of water to increase our supply, or to at least secure our supply. So this is the water tank here for the witch's cottage, and the pump and the hot water system. So everything is powered by a pump, and we use gas to heat the water. Because our primary means of electricity is through solar panels, which you will see just there. We have an array of 9. During the darker times of the year, so when it was raining, overcast, cold, frosty, all of that sort of stuff, we had to really make sure that we didn't overuse our energy supply, because we weren't getting as much sun on the panels as we would have liked. So I'm just going to go out of the gate here. The gate that decided to creak today. It doesn't always creak. We have had a bit of rain. So I'll take you up close to the solar panels, and then I will show you a couple of other bits and bobs. So behind me here, that's how you get in and out of the property. And we are looking at naming our property. So these are our solar panels. I'll switch you around so you can have a bit of a look. So these are our solar panels just here. And the little shed that you see there is where our batteries exist. So I'll take you in there and show you around. So this is our space here with the batteries and all the technology that goes with solar panels. So there are our batteries there, and that's the technology there that keeps a monitor of everything. I will be talking to my dear old dad about talking a little bit about the solar panels because he is an electrical technician. He studied engineering and he's very much into renewable resources, and so he can tell you all about that kind of business. And he often toddles up there once a day to check it, sometimes twice a day depending on what the state of the weather is. So we are here at our spot, not showing you the registrations and that kind of business, but this is our little spot here, and that is a 1-bedroom tiny home with a sunroom. Let's come down to the side here. Behind me is another garden, and there is a little bit of food growing there. There are some fruit trees primarily. This is our newest water tank. It's a smaller one just to collect more water off the roof. You have to be pretty opportunistic about water when it falls here and make sure that any type of roof space that you've got is really important, and you've got to put a water tank underneath it. And so this is our little bit. And behind me here, as you can see, this is a container, and this is my dad's converted dwelling. So he lives in a container that is fully lined on the inside. It's beautifully made out of wood. He built most of the stuff in there. But he's kept it pretty like rustic on the outside because he's a dude and they don't really care for the aesthetics like the ladies do. That's not to say that all fellas don't care about the aesthetic, because there are some that absolutely do, and I've dated some of them. So down the back here we have another container here, and that's our storage container. And then all the way down there, that's our timber. That's where we keep our timber. More timber down there, and the property just keeps going down there, and it goes up here as well. I'm going to take you through the back here. Now usually my husband's in the process of building shelves over on the farm, but usually right here sits a generator, a petrol powered generator, and through the winter time we would have to run the generator so that we could power the pump and have all the baths. So shower time, Jenny went on, and after shower, Jenny went off. I'd sometimes be super opportunistic and I'd wash my dishes just after everyone had their shower, and that way we'd turn the generator off, and that was it. That was all done then. But to the back here are our water tanks, and so that one there, this one right here, it's empty. So it ran out the other day and we had a little mini panic, but there are a lot more people here using the water, and so we are now utilizing this one here predominantly for washing up, and because we use a compost toilet, we don't have a septic system or anything like that. We're not using water in any other way other than for washing up and for showers. And the water tanks up the front, they're specifically for drinking. So all of our drinking water comes from the front, and those tanks tend to be pretty full because they do not get used as much. They're simply primarily for drinking, the occasional washing of hands, that kind of thing. But it's living the dream. A couple of times it has gotten cold enough to freeze the pipes, and we've been caught out in that way, where we forget to fill up all of our, water vessels. Usually I have an urn inside, a ceramic filter, and it keeps all of our drinking water. It's not as necessary to filter the water here as it used to be up in Cairns, but I brought it down anyway, and it is good to have a really great clean water supply. So a few times we've been caught out in that way. I have a love for chopping wood, and so this little baby here is my axe. Can you see that? Yeah, that's my axe. And I actually chop a lot of wood, and I didn't know that that would be a thing, but I really like it. I do the kindling. I usually grab the wheelbarrow from all the way down there and put you know, load up the timber and then carry it all the way up the top. I do about 5 of those every couple of, well, probably once a week, and that's a really good exercise for me. The witch's cottage is uphill, so I walk up to it. But I've got to tell you, it has been so nourishing to the soul to be here. I can't hear any, you know, weird noises, any artificial noises, at least not too often. Occasionally I'll hear a really noisy truck right down there. We're not actually far away from the township, but the township is very small and it's not a thoroughfare and it's not a main highway or anything like that. It's a very small pocket of community here, and it's so lovely. And so occasionally I hear some traffic noise, sometimes I hear generator noise, and most of the people up here are off-grid, so that is another thing, is that you do hear that occasional generator running, but only from the distance. We're very sheltered because we have a cleared area here of about 2.5 acres is cleared, but beyond that there is 26 plus acres that is not. We have a spring up the top there, and that is that's looking to be a potential water source for us if we can manage to harness it, but we need to know exactly how fast it flows, when it flows, if it's constant, if it's seasonal, all of that kind of thing. And that takes time, you know, that takes time. That takes a couple of walks, you know, a week up to the top there to have a look at how it's flowing, the water supply, etc. Hubby went up there the other day and he said it was a bit murky, the water, so he would be disinclined to use it unless it was a good downpour of rain and it was running really clearly, which I happen to agree with. So here we are in the Huon Valley in Tasmania with this beautiful view behind me. Harts Mountain is, if I can get it in shot, it's over there, and you can see snow on that ridge there all through, pretty much all through winter. This year we were told that it was a very mild winter and we didn't actually get snow down to sea level, but that does happen from time to time, and it definitely gets colder than what it did. So we didn't actually get a day that was sort of below -4, but it's not uncommon to have, you know, -7, -10, -15 days, and we didn't have any of that. So it wasn't as bad as we were told it would be. I don't know, it's hard, and I don't think you can really bet on weather. So we might have had a really mild winter this year, but then next year it might be a very bleak winter. So with that understanding and at least a little experience going through our first winter, we know exactly what we need so far. We think we know exactly what we need, probably better put, to equip us for that next winter. So we will be getting more solar panels, we will be getting more water tanks, and we will be looking at perhaps doing a few little extensions here and there, because while living in a tiny home has always been my dream, we are 5 people in a tiny home and it's working for now, and I'm not in a huge hurry to sort of change anything. We're very comfortable at the moment, but I can see as the kids get older, it's going to be very difficult for them to, you know, to get what they need in that space, in that communal space. And so we're looking at potentially building extensions onto one of these 2 dwellings, and that's just a conversation to be had for the future, but it is on our radar, and lots of work. And then we've got the farm, of course, which is again lots of work. Matt's over there building shelves, like I said, and he's looking at getting more animals. The chickens are going well, and yeah, it's been really, really nourishing. It's been very nourishing for the soul, because so many people told us not to do it and that it was a bad idea, and yet the longer we spend here, the more I understand just how good of an idea it was. And we were very fortunate as well, and that's something to consider too, is that when we came down here, my father had already been living here with my uncle for 6 years, and we came down and there were buildings here. There was wood supply here, there were solar panels here. We just sort of stepped into the life, the good life really when you think about it. But there is still always so much work to do. More water tanks, more solar panels, extensions, more building, more storage, more wood cutting, all of that, it just keeps going. It's continuous work. But it's soulful work, it's good work in the sense that it benefits no one but yourself. So the more effort you put into this place, the more comfortable your life is and the easier you make your long-term days as opposed to your short-term days. So yeah, once a week it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, especially when I had pneumonia, to cart a wheelbarrow full. And Maddie did help me from time to time, but he's very busy over at the farm, so I would have to do it coughing and spluttering, and it wasn't very glamorous carrying all the wood up 5 wheelbarrow fulls, because wood's heavy and wheelbarrows are awkward, and I'm going uphill. So that was a bit of a downer, but then I wouldn't have to do it again for 5 days. If I did that job well on the day, I wouldn't have to do it again for a week. So it was just, it's rewarding. It's actually very rewarding, and it's good for the soul, and it gets you outside, it gets you in touch with nature. Like for me to get from my sleeping area, which is our tiny home down there, to my workspace, which is the witch's cottage up here, I have to walk uphill, I have to leave the house, I have to go outside, I have to contend with the creatures. We have these ravishings of ravens and these murders of crows that flick through. We have wallabies, snakes, spiders, and other like little rabbits. There is a rogue cat here somewhere, and we've just adopted a puppy. So we'll be probably getting a bit more, a few more animals. And I'm not sure if for here or for the farm, but it is something that we would like to look into, because it does help to nurture the land. Having a small tribe of animals does help to nurture the land a little bit. It also helps the children to get in touch with wildlife and nature and animals early in their life, and to build up a comfortability with them. And when you live in suburbia, you can't really have a cow. I mean, some places you might be able to. Cows and goats and, you know, llamas and, oh gosh, all the things. But you can here. You can have these sorts of things here, and it's good for them to be able to be exposed to caring for creatures. And I can't wait to see what impact this place has on the children long term. Because short term it's been very, very positive, but give it a year, who knows, you know, I'll keep checking in and letting you know how it's all going and showing you how it's transformed. And I will take you for a bit of a tour of inside the witch's cottage and also inside our cottage, so you can see exactly what we're working with. And I won't try and gussy it up too much, because that will just create a false aesthetic. But yeah, let's see how we go. Thanks for hanging out with me and for letting me talk to you all about my off-grid experience here with the family, and some of the challenges that we've had, and some of the things that we're looking forward to, and just the overall look and feel of the place. It's been an amazing opportunity to be able to live this way, and we don't regret our decision to, you know, quit our default life and give up big paychecks to come and pursue something that's far more simple, far more grounding, far more nourishing, and far more nurturing. So thanks for hanging out with me. See ya!